Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Profitable but not perfect, part two. Let's see what's going on with that trade. Well, as you can see, it's 13 pips against me. As I was processing the video, it came down here. I was up by a pip, but since my hands were kind of full at the moment, I didn't get a chance to exit. So now I'm going to have to trade my way out of this mess. But that's okay. I've done it before. And who knows, maybe I won't be able to. So you'll get to see the way I do it. Now, what I have to do, though, is I'll have to show you another one of my charts here. You might notice some of these and you go, oh wow, you see spots and dots and stars. Well, from those of you who been with me for a decade, you probably remember when we did drain the banks, we had the 3-level ZZ semaphore and we had the TRO dynamic fibs SR. Well, the diamonds are from the TRO dynamic support resistance indicator, and the big diamonds, that's like a big yellow 3, and the medium-sized diamonds, that's like the medium-sized purple 2, and the small diamonds here, that's like the little brown number 1s. Okay, and these squares here, this is the highest open, the dynamic highest open of the day for the H1. And these light blue are the dynamic lowest open. You can see here it's corresponding with the yesterday's low. So right now we're at top of the H1 candle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to a little slow here. Let me double check something. It should be working. Okay, so I've added to a losing position, something you should never do, right? Okay, I'm adding to it right here at MR1. Now, we can switch down to M15 charts, and you can see here I've got the candle shading for the H1 in the background. Okay, and we've got the spread dots, which are actually stars here. And over here, this is my average entry, and this is my 5 pip target. Just so you can see what I look at, this is my usual trading screen when I enter. And so you can see here right around 95, which is just below the top of the central pivot zone. And as I mentioned before, I was shooting for the pivot and it missed it by about a pip. Now, when I do repair trades, one of the rules is you take a 1 pip profit unless it's really rolling in your direction. You basically, you want to get out of the trade alive. You don't want to give any back. Okay, now, what were the errors that I made on that first trade? Well, let's see. I just jumped in just because. That was a random trade or airball trade. Number 2, I wasn't where I needed to be when I needed to be there, which was right here. I should have been ready to take that exit, that 1 pip exit right there. Be done with it. So right now we're just going to wait. And the way I see it, price is going to do one of two things. It's either going to try to reach R1 or it's going to try to come back into the pivot point. So we're at 95 and I'm playing for 60 cents a pip. And we've got red candles here. So what I'm going to do is enter again. Just play for 90 cents a pip, bring that average price up a hair. Now, the pink dots, previous candle's midpoint. So we're looking to see if we can get a retrace to that midpoint. And sometimes if I'm riding a trade, if I want to ride it for a long time, I'll come down to a lower time frame, even all the way down to M1. So what I want to do in this particular case is, you see this is the previous candle's midpoint. I want to make sure price opens below it and stays below it. That's what I'm looking for. I want to make sure it closes below that midpoint. And that'll keep me in the trade longer. Now, as you can see, we got these dots in, dynamic support dots right here. So hopefully it'll push down. Now, some people, they like to say things like, oh, this indicator repaints. This indicator does not repaint. These dots, they move when the candle moves, but when that candle closes, these dots stay the same. That's just the way the indicator works. It does not repaint. But what it shows you is when you get a dot, that's showing you price is breaking out of a level. Okay? And you can see here, it's breaking until it puts in. Then when you get that horizontal dynamic support or resistance, that's when you want to go the other way. So you see here, it works on M1, it works on M5, it works on M15, it works on the weekly, it even works on the monthly. Okay, so for you longer term traders, you can use the same principles here up in the monthly or possibly the weekly. Okay, let's go back down to M5 and see what's happening. So I put these on the corner because sometimes when I'm doing things like here, if I'm looking at my YouTube, I can still see the trade that's going on. So you can see here, I just uploaded the other video, and see we're almost out of trouble. And we could close for a 24% loss. But let's just see if we can follow the dots. Now, one of the things about trading and patience is if you wait for a dot to appear at the low of the current candle, then you will have taken most of the profit, the possible profit, out of that trade. So it can be tough, because if you were down here on M1, you see you're right there, you might be tempted to exit. So sometimes if you pull up, move up a level, you can see, okay, there's still possibility for it to go. And you can see here, we're right at the break-even point. And then what you want to do, see, this is the clothesline, okay? You know, that just comes with MT4. I didn't do this one. That's just part of it. You scan across and you see, is there any reason why it might resist? Well, you can see here, price rejected from that level once before. So we're right there where price could reject. So this, and then you can see right here, price put up some resistance. So sometimes resistance becomes support, support becomes resistance. Okay, I'm up a whopping 3 cents. Let's see, can we get a break? We've got about 2.5 minutes left in this candle. So we've got 6 M1 reds in a row. We're pushing it, but we've only got 2 M5s, 1 M15. Okay, so you see here, but we've got the red in our favor, but we're against there. Okay, now we're up 1.1. Okay.
Order filled.
So, as I mentioned before, following my rule, since I already broke 2, it's like let's not have a let's not strike out. Let's at least follow one. If you trade your way out of a problem, just take that one pip and be grateful. Now, this thing could drop like a rock, and then you'd be using some, expletives expressing your frustration. But no, we're not going to do that because, see, now it's going the other way. It always feels good when it does that. But you see, that's falling into the emotional trap. And we're traders. We're supposed to be dealing with numbers, logic, reason. But we're human. There's always going to be some emotion. But you have to put that in check, or keep it in check. You have to tell yourself, like, hey, I just made one pip. Now, I had put in, three rounds. Well, I made one pip on 3 rounds versus one pip on 1 round. So I actually came out ahead of the game. But you can see here, like I just did this that was just an airball entry. I mean, if I had been looking at this screen, there's no way I would have gone short right there. I mean, the short trade was up here where it put in this dynamic resistance. You see here it broke below the previous. So that would have been the nice trade. But you see that? Somebody would say, well, that's hindsight. Well, you see what I did here? Right there. I added, I did it. I added to it. There was the highest open right there. So I went short and came out ahead. See, if I hadn't have done this, airball trade, if I would have waited for this, then all of that would have been profit. So, fellow traders, I hope maybe I showed you something there. Maybe you learned something, you could take it away. And, all these dots and spots, those are all in the TRO Build 1000 zip file that I've uploaded. You guys know where I upload my indicators. So, and the reason I don't mention it is because if somebody posts this video on some other forum, and then one of the forum admins, well, they'll probably see it's from me. They probably just delete it anyway, but then they might say that they're trying to promote some other forum, and people are very, very touchy about that. They're very protective of their forums. They don't want anybody to know about other forums, which is so stupid, but that's just the way some people are. So anyway, once again, was this perfect? No. Was it profitable? Yes. So we're not talking about perfect. So see, even when you make a mistake, there's a way to still be profitable. But like I say, everybody goes, never add to a losing trade. Well, sometimes the only way to fix a trade is to add to it. You just have to be smart about it. So see here, I was playing with a small size. So now, 30 cents a pip. For some people, 10 cents a pip, is a big deal. So I'm not trying to belittle anybody in their account size, but you just have to work your way up. You can trade small. So this was probably about, I think that's like a quarter of a position, maybe, or less of what I would normally, trade during the day on these types of trades. But that's irrelevant. The point is that we're looking to be profitable, not perfect. So you see here, price is just hanging out. Could have stayed in, but no. We took it at the 1 pip. Be happy because, trades are like trains or buses. Sooner or later there's going to be another one coming along. So that's really all you have to do. So, fellow traders, once again, as always, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. TheRumpledOne, signing off.